How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Patreons, thanks for joining in tonight. I'm really excited about tonight's guest. But before we get into that, I just want to say thank you for everyone jumping on tonight. You guys know we do a Meet the Breeders, and I wanted to do something a little bit different. And there's quite a few people in the US and Canada that I wanted to get on for you guys to meet in person, because I know a lot of you may follow some of these breeders, but when we're doing it behind the scenes on the Patreon lives, I feel it's a bit more personal. So I'm looking forward to that, definitely. So good evening to Ryan, RT Pythons. He was the first one who jumped on. We got Ian over at Eyeballs. We got Norfolk Royals, Steve Walker up in the sunny Isles of Scotland. We got Casey Royals, Lisa Richmond, Kerry Stimson, also one of the main breeders up in Scotland as well. Amazing. Jason over at S&J Royals, Lynn over at LF Royals, Vivid Mutations, Mark Pugh, good evening. Justin over at Ballarama, Paul, Snake Station, Paul at PMC, CD Royals, Houston Herbs, and I can see a few more jumping on. So before we get into any more of that, guys, get your questions ready. I'm going to bring on the man, the myth, another legend in my eyes, a great guy, KG from Bomb Projects. Good evening.
Hey, man. Thank you for that that fantastic intro. Appreciate it.
Dude, you know, when I first met you, I was like, oh shit, that's you know what I mean? I mean, I'm a short guy, but you don't get to realize how tall or how short people are from videos. So yeah, it was really cool to meet you, definitely. And I think
likewise,
one of the craziest things I've seen is how you know how long have you been in the hobby, KG?
Well, the ball python, I've had snakes and ball pythons in the past, but the one that kicked it off for me was purchased in December of 2019.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So what's been evident since you've been what I call on the social media scene is how quick people have gravitated towards you. And, you know, obviously you've got Dee's your partner, obviously, she helps you a lot. She was there at the show, fantastic woman. It's just great to see, and I don't mean this in a condescending way, but new people like yourself coming in and just people gravitating towards you, you know?
Right.
So, yeah.
I can only attest that to just being a genuine person, you know?
Yeah.
I think if you know, people can pretty much feel out somebody, especially in person. You know, are they genuine? Are they full of shit? You know, oops, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to curse.
No, we're okay. We're okay.
Yeah, and you know, I just been, you know, a straight up guy from the, you know, I tell you how I feel. I don't hide anything. You know, I'm an open book, and you know, I'm easily accessible. So my number's out there. You can call me, you can reach out. You know, there's no secrets.
Yeah, I think you know, I've tried to join in some of your lives. Unfortunately, you're like 8 hours behind us here.
Right.
So when you guys go live, it's sort of middle of the night for us. But I tried to jump in on a few of your lives, and it's evident that you talk straight. You know, there's no BS.
Yeah.
You talk straight. You tell people how it is. If they don't like it, you're just being honest. You know, which is, I think, very commendable.
I want that both ways too, you know.
So
don't ever feel like if you're talking to me, you can't tell me how you really feel. It doesn't make you a bad person.
Yeah, 100%. And I think there's too much. I think over a message or over a comment, like leaving a comment on someone's post or something, people can read it the wrong way.
Absolutely.
But at least if you reach out, chat, leave a voice note, you know, that sort of thing, you know, people can get the context of what you're trying to say. And I think, you know, I've upset loads of people in the past, including Justin, the main man himself. And, you know, it's one of them things, you know, you upset someone, you apologize, you make it clear, and actually this is what I meant. Then they get the gist of it, you know.
That's the problem with text or chat or anything else is the famous cliche is lost in translation, which means a lot. You know, I can't text emotion. You know, in the delivery, you know, I can type something, right? One sentence, and me and you read it 10 different ways, and it can be 10 different things, but it's the exact same text. So, I mean, that's a great point you bring up. You know, once you guys had that face to face and that conversation, it was, you know, it was an aha moment. Like, oh, okay, I understand. I get it now.
Yeah. So I think when we met in Tinley, we kind of just hit it straight off. I just felt proper, you know, like we'd known each other years, you know. And I think that sort of thing as well. You like, for me, I like to think I've got a good radar with people. And yeah, when we hit it off, you know, I was just like, yeah, I feel like I've known this cat for like years, you know.
I appreciate
so
it. Just likewise, you know, I felt the
yeah,
same. Yeah. There was
well, I'm the same as you, you know. If you've got a question, reach out. I'll help. I'll do my best. You know, and I've noticed that with you. So then, let's get into some questions. So, what made you get into ball pythons? What was the thing for you? What was it?
I gotta just take it back to Brian Barczyk.
Yeah.
You know, rest in peace, R.I.P. Man, that was a legend.
Yeah.
You know, just stumbled across one of his videos on a late night and started going down that rabbit hole. You know, backing up, watching old videos, and then can't wait, you know, till the next morning to watch the next one. And he made it. It was almost like he made it a realistic or an obtainable goal. You know, like anybody can do this. And it's funny because I don't know if you guys are familiar with Chad Brown from Ship Your Reptiles.
Yeah, I know Chad.
Me and Chad I've known Chad since diapers. Literally. His family and my family went to the same church. We were raised together. Lived around the corner. Yeah, we've been buds for forever. We lived in the foothills outside of LA, and we used to go herping. I didn't know it was called herping, you know, catching anything we could, from gopher snakes, rattlesnakes to everything. Fish, newts, king snake, you know, everything. So growing up, we've always been into that, you know, crazy stuff. You know, there's a pet store down the street from us that an Asian guy owned, and he would literally get whatever you want. And, you know, me and Chad were raised in the 70s. We were born in the 60s, raised in the 70s. And it was a weird time because you didn't need parental agreement. You know, if you had money, you go into this pet store, the guy said, "What do you want? I want a piranha? No problem. $10, here's your piranha. Put it in a, you know, in a little plastic bag, and you went home." So he didn't even question, you know, it was a different time, you know, different era.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, obviously can't do that now, but yeah, it was crazy.
Dude, you don't even look that old. You know?
I appreciate that.
You don't look that old, bro. Yeah, so that's really interesting, because what's bizarre is you hear stories and you say, oh, you know, I knew this breeder way back in the day when we were small, when we were kids. People working with breeders like Tom Barnard, working with Ozzy, you know, back in the day. And it's weird how people reconnect later on in their life, you know, over the same sort of the love for reptiles, you know?
Yeah. And Chad, you know, when he went to college, he told me that he was starting pro exotics. And I was like, bro, you're crazy. You're going to the NFL. Like, for what? But that's always been his passion. It was never about the money. It was always about the passion. So through the years, I would just, you know, when I started having kids, I'd call them and say, hey, send me a snake, send me a lizard, send me, you know. So that he was just my go-to for that. And not only just being a friend, but, you know, I never thought of it as a business or as, you know, something I would do. It took Barczyk for me to, you know, to click that light.
Yeah, I think like you said, because Chad had Pro Exotics, and obviously when that burnt down, that was massive. You know, that was
crazy.
That was crazy when that burnt down. But Chad still kept going. And what's bizarre is, even though you and him were close friends, he took someone else, a stranger maybe, that you didn't really know, to sort of, for that light bulb to click. And that's something that I try and say to anyone who's on any social media platform. You know, you may think that you don't have a lot of followers, or you've only got 100 people following you, but that's 100 people you are, you know, you've got to do right by. You know, you've got to, you know, they're watching you, they're keeping an eye on you. They look up to you.
It means a lot for somebody to click the follow button.
100%.
So you should never take 1 follower or 10,000 for granted. Never. Yeah. That means they believe in you.
Yeah, and like I remember my YouTube channel, you know, and it got to 100 subscribers. I was just like blown away, you know. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
And to this day, I remember where I was, what I was doing. I was taking the kids to school, and I remember it vividly. So to say I don't appreciate my followers and my subscribers is a real understatement, because I know that if one of my videos or any of my content can help someone, then at least I'm doing something, you know.
Yep, for sure.
Okay, so we can see you're in the snake room in the bomb HQ.
Yeah.
Tell me a bit. What sort of numbers? How many breeding females? What's the sort of clutch sizes you do?
This year we have probably around 140 breeder females right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
I'm gonna breed all of those. You know, a lot of stuff. I'm looking to probably move about 60 breeder females, and then got a lot of stuff that needs to, you know, move up.
Yeah. So just before we went live, you were on about just refining your collection. Tell us a bit about that. What's the reason or the purpose behind that?
I think, you know, I can't speak for everybody, but I'm pretty sure saying over half the people that get into the hobby do like I did, you know, just buy what you like with no direction, you know. You see some, oh, that's a deal, let me get it. Oh, let me, I can make a Lucy. I can, you know, I can do this. And once you've been in it for a while and you've talked to people and you've seen a lot of videos, you come to the realization like, oh, I did it wrong. If I'm doing it, if I'm going at it from a business, right?
Yeah.
So that's where, you know, I had that aha moment probably year 2.
Yeah.
When I was like, you know what? A lot of this stuff is obsolete for me, for what I'm trying to do. So yeah, now just trying to reel it down. Right now we're a little over 400 snakes, and I want to cut it down to 200.
Yeah, that's I mean, that's a good chunk. I mean, I always say to people about resetting their collection.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes cutting off the weight. And sometimes it's a real good mental thing that you get rid of the stuff that you don't really need, or that you have that moment. And I think everyone at some point has done something along them lines. I have.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, it's a bit like saying to the kids, don't touch that plate. It's hot. They're still going to touch it, bro. Do you know what I mean? But they've got to learn the hard way.
You do.
So
you do.
We can obviously give people advice and help them and say, you know, learn from our mistakes, you know, try not to do it that way. But I think sometimes you know what I mean? You've just got to let them do it, you know?
Out of everybody that I know that's breeding, you know, friends that I've made in the community, I can honestly say I only know one breeder who did it with the mindset of making money.
Yeah.
Everybody else did it just like we did it. Just buy with, you know, But
and
to
I think
be fair, that guy started in breeding dogs, breeding birds. So he already understood, you know, if I'm going to get in it, he did the research and found out what makes money and, you know, which direction to go. So he kind of had a little cheat code. But anybody that comes in green, you just going, oh, let me get a Lucy, let me get a pie, let me get, pastel. You know, you like pastel because you don't know.
And with that in mind, obviously you're trimming off some bits and pieces, but what's one of your favorite genes or favorite projects at the moment, this current state? What's your favorite?
Right now, my favorite incomplete dominant is Stranger. And then a close second is Hurricane. Those two are, and then third is Blackhead. So that's like my top 3 right there.
Yeah, that's obviously all dark morphs or very pattern orientated morphs. Okay. Being as you've told me you're incomplete dominance, Give me your recessive. What's your favorite recessive?
All time, I don't care what the market is or what people say. I'm always going to be biased to Pied. Always. So,
Do you know, it's so refreshing because you saw probably about a year ago everyone getting out of Pied.
oh yeah, everybody's smoking Pied. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean, dude?
I'm going even harder with Pied.
Yeah, and do you know what? I'm doing exactly the same. I'm making some double het MJ Exantic lightning Pied stuff.
Yeah.
My other half's doing candy Pied stuff. So
Yep.
there's some real. I think there's so people are so missing so much, and they're just being a bit narrow-minded, if you like, you know. And
well, I pose a question to people who, think the sky's falling on Pied is, what got you in? If I set up a table with put no prices on it and any breeder that's not in the business, just somebody looking to get in the hobby or just a fellow person walking by, and I put my top 10 snakes up there from value.
Yeah.
Right. They all gravitate to the Pied first. I don't care what you do.
And I think it was obviously the Bumblebee got me into it way back in the day. And I think that got a lot of people into it. But then we had that wave of people getting in because of Pied, the way they looked. And there's whenever non-snake people come here and I show them various ones, they always gravitate to the Pied. Always.
There's nothing more striking, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is that real? You always hear that. Is that real? Is it shedding? Is it in between? Like, what is that? I don't. They can't understand. Like, how is that possible? How can you have pattern here and white and pattern and white? It's crazy.
Yeah, and so I think
be my number one.
Yeah, I think there's still so much to do with Pied. So much we can do.
Every genetic, we haven't scratched the surface. I mean,
100%
combos. Yeah, it's crazy.
100%. So, if there's one gene that you haven't got that you want or you're looking at getting this season, what is it?
Monarch.
Okay. Give us an explanation why.
I didn't like we have a lot of ultra male. So I picked one. Let me pick one positive. That's it. And after seeing combos, I've seen photos and video.
Mm-hmm.
Me personally, I like the color tones of ultra male.
Yeah.
The purples, the pinks, and oranges. I didn't really like the dark burgundy stuff. It's a darker tone. And after, going to some expos and seeing them in person, I've seen combos where I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
I like that.
Changed your mind.
I like that. Yeah. So I definitely want to add Monarch.
No, that's cool. I mean, I think there was a lot of separation. You're either team Ultramel or team Monarch.
Right. Yeah. Everybody wants to draw a line in the sand. You got to stand on one side.
I appreciate them both. I think there's a lot of my Patreons. Well, I'll say a lot of them. Few of them are working with Ultramel. Some of them are working with Monarch. And I think it's great because I get to see what they're doing, and what they're going to produce. And I just think there's so much potential in both that have left. So here's the thing. So back in the day, a pair of Ultramels was 25K over here.
Yeah.
And a friend of mine got a pair in, and straight away he brought them from I believe it was the States. He brought 3 from the States, 2 females, 1 male. But the other female came, it was a different line of Ultramel. It was the Cried line Ultramel. Anyway, and it was almost like when he brought that, literally the banana was being released as well. So then all of a sudden the prices on Ultramel tanked.
Yeah.
And then it was almost like breeders in America kind of forgot about Ultramel because they were so concentrated on the banana or the coral glow stuff. And now it's like we've been doing stuff with Ultramel and in Europe, and now it's like for example, like an Ultramel Pied over here is probably about £1,200 or probably about $1,400. Over in the US, they're still going for like 3K. Real strong money.
Yeah.
So it's really bizarre how, the genes can be differently priced over here to over
It's funny to touch on that. 2 years ago when the DG craze started,
Yep.
DG in Europe was a lot cheaper than it was in the States.
Yep.
So we bought a shit ton of DG from Europe.
Yep. Yep.
And so a lot of our DG came from Europe. And it's funny. I think, just to touch on the ultramel thing, I think what's screwing up the ultramel market now is the caramello. A lot of people are finding out that their ultramel has caramel in it. And
Yeah.
I think that's what also tripped up candies.
Yeah. So
liquid albino, so people kind of like, oh, I'm out. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And candy, me personally, I think candies age better than all of them.
I was very impressed. Like I said, my other half's got candy pies, and she's produced some candies, and that really, really threw me when I saw them, because I was just like, wow, these are.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Yeah, this is crazy. But so what happened with the Ultramel and finding the caramel in it? So the Kreidler line Ultramel, I don't know if you know, was actually sold as a caramel, but it was a line of caramel that wasn't kinking. Okay, so back in the day, caramel was the thing, but it kinked.
Yeah.
And Eric Kreidler had this line of caramel, which wasn't kinking. So someone brought a Kreidler line Ultramel, and then bred it to what we know as the Noah line Ultramel, and the caramel line. And they were like, well, if his caramels don't kink, I'm going to put his gene into my caramels to stop the kinking.
Right.
And sure enough, it didn't produce a visual. So straight away there was a bit of controversy. Then they did more testing, and then and so people that had crossed caramel and ultramel, which was the Kreidler line, over, So even though because the Kreidler line ultramel looked very similar to caramel, very similar, right? So that's where the caramel and the ultramel got mixed up in the States, and then Eric changed the name. So by the time the Kreidler line caramel came to the UK, it was actually known as Ultramel. And Justin bred a Kreidler line Ultramel to a Noah line Ultramel, and it produced Ultramels. I did the same. I did the same pairing. It produced, so it was compatible.
Right.
And I think that's where the original crossover came in, where you get those
the
caramels, as you say, So
the caramellos are beautiful too.
Oh, dude. I mean,
like Andino's beautiful. I mean, it's like, it's crazy.
That's nuts. So when we spoke in Tinley, you called me over to Carlos's table.
Yes.
So let's talk a little bit about the mimic.
The mimic, it's kind of weird until you see it in person. Is when you really get a grasp of how amazing the gene is. And I tell people it hatches as a rainbow, and it finishes as a desert ghost monarch.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's really, really. I mean, I've been begging Carlos to, let this gene go, man. I mean, you got something that can ignite a fire in this industry.
Yeah.
And he's still saying he's refining it and working on it. I talked to him last week, and he was touching on he's got a couple supers, he thinks.
Yeah, because so just explain to people. I'm going to let you explain. So you and Carlos are pretty close. You're good friends.
Yeah.
Okay. So you knew about the monarch. The mimic.
Yeah.
Before
mimic probably 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And I was like, "What the hell's that?" He showed me a baby. Like, "Oh, I want that." He's like, "No, I'm not selling it. I'm still trying to work it out." And he was telling me the backstory, how it hatched out, from a GHI pairing, just this weird thing. And he thought it was rainbow. So he sold it. He sold some of those hatchlings as rainbow. The following year, he said he did another pairing and hatched more of them. So he called the people that he sold the snakes to and bought them back. which was smart on his part.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So he was able to. He's the only one who has it in his possession.
Yeah.
Now, people we bought it back from, to be fair, he said, "Listen, you're still in the project, but let me figure this out. You know, what I'm thinking is rainbow is probably not rainbow, and as the story goes, you know, I'm not going to tell his story, but that's the gist of it. And you know, fast forward now, he's put it in, you know, a few recessives. He's made the clown, and I think he's got pied, and it's I mean, I can't wait. You know, it's just an amazing gene.
Yeah, because you called me over to the table and you went, Gav, come and look at this. And then when I saw it, I immediately knew what it was, as in I knew the animals because I saw them on his Instagram post, and then I realized who we were talking to.
Yeah.
And I've told that story that, you know, everyone was pretty much leaving and we were all stood behind his table, and he gave us a sneak peek at the yellow belly.
Now Carlos is real guarded, man. You know, you can go to his page, you won't even see a picture of him. This guy is, you know, he works for the government, to be fair, so he has to protect himself. So for him to even go up to a show and be willing to show it is, you know, kudos to him.
I think we've lost the.
I thank him big time for that, you know, because I told him when he told me he was going to Tinley, I said, hey, listen, I got a few breeders that, you know, I want you to share it with. And he's like, no problem. Just bring him to the table. You know, I got no problem. So that was cool.
Yeah, no, he's a pretty cool guy. And I think seeing it in person, and he showed us a hatchling and he showed us a adult.
Yeah.
I just couldn't believe how it changed. So
information is insane.
Dude, and the Mimic is such a good name for it that I think it's really fitting. And so he believes it's an incomplete dominant. Is that correct?
Yes. He knows for a fact it is.
Okay, cool.
He knows that for sure, 100%.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So tell us about your project. Tell us about something you've got on this season that is a pairing that you're looking forward to.
Probably my most anticipated is a snake that we bought from Europe that I bred. The first pairing to was a super inchy leopard. And hatched out, you know, it was 6 eggs, and 5 of them came out like crazy, like confusion or some weird, you know, gene. So I'm calling around and asking people at the time, like, hey, what is this? They're like, I don't know. Give me the pairing. I give them the pairing. They're like, no, that doesn't make sense. And it's funny because I posted some pictures and people were buying them. So I had sold 2 of them, just like Carlos, same thing. And they're like, no, you can't sell that. So I reached back, you know, I'm sorry, you know, forgive me. I lied to them and said I had already sold it to somebody else. So they didn't feel bad. And I'm like, hey, let me get you something else. You know, I'll double it. You know, I was only selling it $200. Here, I'll give you 400 credit. You know, so those snakes I kept back, and everybody that's seen them said, yeah, there's something weird going on. So I'm excited to see, because now I'm going to put the sire back to one of his daughters and see, is there a super form? Is there, you know, what does this thing do?
Yeah, it's going to be
probably my most exciting pairing this season.
Okay.
And then, you know, I got 7 chances at Holy Grails.
Nice.
Yeah. 7 females that we produce.
Yeah.
With, inchy and that weird gene in it.
Yeah. That's going to be pretty cool.
That's going to be fun.
I think there's a lot of simple combinations which are being overlooked, and that's because a lot of people are shooting for, you know, double, triple, quadruple recessive stuff. What simple gene, a simple affordable gene, have you seen that's kind of, you feel that's underrated at the moment?
Hands down. Go now. So if you see any on Morph Market, pick it up. Sapphire.
Okay, go on. Explain to us about Sapphire.
I think Sapphire is the poor man's stranger right now.
Okay.
It's a gene, it's a disruptor. Disrupts the pattern. It's amazing genetic. Not a lot of people work with it, and it's
no
crazy inexpensive right now. And I
I've
think
not seen that.
it's going to be a gene that's going to take off. It's been around for a while too.
Really? Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take a look at that. And that's really cool to hear because it's a gene that we haven't really heard of, you know,
Right. Yeah.
and sort of, you know, so I like hearing and seeing
And
new
I
stuff.
stumbled on it. Somebody had a combo, and I'm like, wow, that's a crazy stranger. He's like, no, that's not stranger. That's sapphire. Like, what is that? So I went and looked it up and did research. I'm like, oh, this is a real gene. It's been around. Wow,
Wow.
this is crazy. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I take it you've brought a sapphire.
I have one. Yeah. I haven't, I just picked it up. I haven't got it in yet, but yeah, I'm like,
Cool.
I gotta get one, I gotta have at
Yeah.
least
Yeah. Yeah. A couple of people have said they're straight off to Morph Market now to go and look for sapphire.
Yeah. Yeah. Check that out. You'll
Yeah,
be,
yeah. No, that's going to be interesting one to watch, definitely.
yeah.
Okay. Your inspirations in the industry, you're pretty unique. Yeah. Like the stuff I see you post, you yourself as a person, very unique. But who's the people that inspire you? Who are the people that sort of get your, you're looking at seeing what they're producing?
I gotta be honest. I really don't, I'm always excited to see, what Levance puts out, Straight Fire. I'm always excited to see what Justin puts out.
Yeah.
You have your top dogs, Miguel,
Yeah.
you have those. And outside of that, I mean, let's just take the obvious off the table. I like everybody, man. I'm
Yeah.
always scanning the internet and Instagram. It's shocking to see that there's some breeders that stay way under the radar who have
Yeah.
some amazing collections and some crazy ideas and combos. And so I really don't have one person that I'm like, ooh,
Yeah.
I look up to and oh, I just want to do that.
Yeah.
You guys have a good buddy of mine, Dean, over in Amsterdam.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was able to go to. We went to Houghton
Yeah.
2 years ago, and then we were able to. He invited us back to his place, and he showed me some crazy, ultramel. He works heavy with ultramel Desert Ghost. Ultramel.
Yeah. There's a lot of cool breeders I think out there who are under the radar, because they've got some very interesting projects that maybe they don't want to give the jump on.
Right. Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they produce stuff and they post it. You're like,
Yeah.
holy crap,
What?
where have you come from?
Yeah. Where'd that?
Yeah. I think there's pros and cons to that sort of thing, definitely.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. So let's talk about the industry. Let's talk about the market. What's it like over there at the moment? The state of the market. What's it like?
It's mixed. I talk to breeders daily, and it's mixed. Some people like, it's rebounding. Some people, think the sky's falling still. But I think it's the market, not just ball pythons, but the market period. Things go as the market goes. As the economy's terrible, then everything's gonna be terrible.
Yeah.
It's a direct reflection. So, like I tell people, man, 20 years ago, your house was worth 100 grand. Now it's worth $1 million. You guys have got to wait it out. This is a long. One thing ball pythons have taught me is patience.
Yeah, I think patience, perseverance, and persistence is the 3 Ps I always say to people, because you're not going to. For me, this is like what we call, like over here, at my pension, my retirement fund.
Right.
We compare snakes way into our 80s and 90s. If we're fortunate to live that long, but we can't go out there and labor and do a hard job, a hard labor intense job. So we've got to look after ourselves, So this is what I kind of look for, and I just think it's not a it's a steady marathon.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I can see a couple of people jumping on. Good evening, Toby over at Morph Matrix. We've got Ultimate Balls, and apparently Ryan has already checked Morph Market. There is no sapphires for sale at the moment.
Did he look? You got to look in the U.S. market. I know AK Morphs have a couple up. recently.
Okay.
When you go to Morph Market and type in sapphire, go to your filters and hit any. That way you're able to at least see the ones that were sold, and you can see the combos and all of that.
Yeah, that's a good thing. While we're talking about Morph Market, what's your feeling on the new owner?
You know, he's just a young guy who's got a shit ton of money, and he's got great ideas, and I think he has good intentions. You know what I mean? But it's hard to tell somebody who's self-made how to run something. You know what I mean? Because he's had a concept that's proven. He's made a shit ton of money, so you know it's hard. He's not going to take constructive criticism, and he's young and fiery, so he's going to be, you know, he's going to lash back. But I think he's learned over the last year how to reel itself in and kind of tame down his emotion. You know?
Yeah. I've just seen we've got a kind of a special guest jump in. This is for those who don't know, Nathan from Infinite Possible Pythons. I don't know if you've met Nathan before, KG, but
he's in the States.
Yeah. So Nathan has took over a lot of the Bang project in the States, and we did a real cool live. Nathan actually hit the Super Bang clown. Dude,
I watched it. Yeah,
dude, it's fun.
It was crazy. That thing's nuts. I can't wait to see it in person.
Yeah, it's.
I'm pretty good, you know, friends with Sterling, so I talk to him a lot, and I used to buy rats from him 2 years ago, and he was trying to get me in on Bang, and I'm like, man, I just went heavy on Mandarin. Like, I don't want another orange gene. Yeah, so shout out to too, man. Sterling is a real guy, man. I love Sterling.
Yeah, he's like, you know, he let me in on the Bang project, and I'm very grateful for that, definitely. So that's pretty cool. So I'm looking forward to seeing what a lot of people do this year with the Bang stuff. Again, not being proven. It's genetically not the same as Orange Dream, which is good, which we kind of knew you could see wasn't. But
that's been proven though.
Yeah, so it's not the same.
Yeah, it's not the same as OD.
Yeah. Correct. Yeah. It's not the same, and that's something that Nathan sent in a lot of sheds, just to prove that out, which was really good. So I'm certainly looking forward to what you guys in the States do with the Bang, and certainly there's a few individuals over here who've got some fantastic animals as well. So it's going to be interesting to see, that's for sure.
I like it. I like it.
Well, hopefully I'll be able to show you a Stranger Bang clown this season. And, I'll send you a picture for that one.
Stranger Clown has orange tones by itself, so I can only imagine it compounded with the Bang on top. It's gonna be nice.
Yeah.
Has anybody made a hypo Bang yet?
I'm not sure actually. I know.
I'm not
sure. I've not seen one.
Yeah, but crazy orange tones on it. That would be interesting to see.
Yeah, definitely. And that's what I mean. There's so much to be done out there. Toby over at Twisted Morphs has said the Ultramel DG project is fire. So yeah, definitely. I want to see one in person. I've seen some pictures. Yeah, I want to see one in person.
Yeah, we produced 3 of them so far.
Okay.
I have one breeding right now. It's a Super Orange Dream Ultramel Desert Ghost male.
There you go. I'll have to come over. Where are you? Where are you based?
We're just outside of LA. We're 7 miles north of downtown LA, so right in the foothills.
Oh, cool. Okay. Yeah, I'll have to try and make my way over them ends and come see you guys.
You definitely got to come by.
Yeah, definitely. So, okay. So, what's your craziest project? What you've got going on?
Craziest project right now is probably Hypo Monsoon puzzle with Stranger. That's probably the craziest one right now.
Dude, that's nuts. Wow.
Yeah. So
No, that's crazy.
That girl should be going. We have a Calico Stranger Monsoon male, breeder male.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's putting in work right now.
So what's your? We've kind of, I believe it's been told that Moray, which is the gene over in Europe, it's the same thing. Yeah. So what's your theory? So I was speaking to Justin over at Tinley, and you see some strangers which are really crazy, really nuts, and then you see some which you look and you're like,
yeah, the Moray influence.
Yeah, is that something you believe in, or?
Well, Justin said he's proved it out. He's made some, from what he thought were monsoon markers or Moray markers. He bred them together and he's made visuals. I've talked to my good buddy Austin over at Mutation Creation, and he's done the same thing. Taken some wacky looking ones and bred them together and proved it out. So I think there's some validity in that. I'm still on the, as a believer that monsoon is an incomplete dominant.
Really?
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Wow. Okay, that's interesting.
There's no doubt in my mind. But now we get into semantics, right? Because to make a super, you need 2 copies. To make a visual, you need 2 copies. So, I mean, theoretically, is it the same? Do I have a het yellow belly or do I have an ivory? It's like.
And this is something that we can have this. And here's the thing. Just because you think it's one thing and I may think it's another, don't mean that I'm not going to, you know what I mean? We can have this conversation and be open-minded.
Oh, yeah.
And
I never tell people, as a matter of fact, it's my way. This is solely my opinion. Solely. So, yeah. I mean, it's just crazy because you can, you take 2 snakes with the identical genetics, but only one is het monsoon and they look totally different.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And again, we can go back and forth, the markers for this, the markers for that. This is het that. This is because certainly producing some sunset, het sunset combos.
Those sunset markers are crazy.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. So
crazy.
What you can definitely see het sunset combo is different to a combo without the het sunset, exactly the same 100%. Genetics. So
100%.
It's really interesting to see the whole concept and whether or not. And let me ask you this question then, KG, because again, we can talk openly on here. It's not, what was your feeling with the whole DG stuff that was released by
the A, B, C, and all of that?
Yeah, what was your feeling about that? What?
Oh, here's my thing, right? And I love Ben. No, this is no slight at Ben.
Yeah.
Ben received a lot of pressure from us as breeders to hurry up with the DG process, right? A lot of people say it was a money grab. Whether it is or it isn't, I can't speak to that.
Yeah.
But he received so much pressure, not from just everybody, from myself. I mean, I'm guilty of that. We probably sent 70 sheds for Desert Ghost testing. And, I think the way he handled it, I would have handled it a little differently.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I would have been a little more clear, more upfront. And it seemed the way he translated it was a matter of fact, it's polygenic, this is the way it is, and this is how it's going to be, right? I would have been, listen, I'm doing the test for you guys. You're helping me develop the test. I'm not 100%.
Yeah.
So with me not being 100%, I'm not going to charge you 100% of the testing price.
Yeah.
I would have done it for half price until I know exactly what's going on. That way, I think you would have, a lot of people wouldn't be up in arms like, oh man, this guy just took the money and ran and this is bullshit. And,
Yeah.
But, I can't say that. Is that how he really did it? No, I can't say that. I think he's.
I've heard a lot of conspiracy theories as well. People saying, like, obviously, because Justin owns half the company, was it a Justin thing that Justin wanted, him to, or that information to get out there so he could capitalize, or, you know what I mean? All that sort of stuff.
It would be both of them capitalizing for sure, right?
Yeah.
Like I said, if you're not 100% or matter of fact, then I feel just me, I wouldn't be 100% charging you that.
Yeah.
So I'll relate it to a snake. I produce a snake. I don't know what's in it. I'm charging you for what I know is in it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to tell you it could be X, Y, and Z, and good luck. I hope it is. You win. You know what I mean? I would have done it, you know, but that's just me. I mean, everybody had to do it my way.
It kind of makes in his defense, I've got one line of DG. Okay, all my DG stuff pretty much have stemmed from this one line. The stuff that I'm noticing, and when he came out with the AB thing, it kind of made sense because I've produced some DGs which look like this, and I've produced some DGs which look like that, all from the same original father.
Mm-hmm.
Now, has the father or the original grandparent got something else? And you know, I'm seeing I'm seeing another gene as well as DG.
Yeah,
I don't know because
I think it's just like any other either codom or visual, right? It's like how Ozzy refined his OD, how Chris Hernan took his OD and refined it again.
Yeah.
You know, it's I think with line breeding, obviously we're all guilty of it. You have a clutch, you're obviously going to keep the best one for yourself.
Yeah.
Sell the rest. And now what happens? You breed that, we raise it up and breed it, and you're going to keep the best from that clutch and then raise that up. And you know, it continues on. So obviously your line's going to look one way versus, you know, like you said, you hatch Desert Ghost from the same sire, but you get different looks.
Yeah.
But, you know, is it polygenic? I think everything is really.
Yeah, we do have polygenic traits. We'd be stupid to think that we didn't, you know. At the end of the day, these are animals where they range in Central and Western Africa is so vast.
Yeah.
You know, we have polygenic traits. That's definitely. I just think Steve Walker's just said he felt that it was rushed to get the news out, which I
for sure.
agree.
For sure.
And from what we were told, certainly in the UK, and it might have been from the video, that he tested 100 sheds from Justin's collection where they got the information from. So it was a bit bizarre how, you know, then all of a sudden he's got this. Let's say he bred let's say he tested, which is, I'm pretty confident that's what he said or he mentioned in one of the videos.
Yeah.
That he bred. That he shed tested 100 sheds from Justin's collection, and that's what he came back with. And then all of a sudden, if you go on the free shed testing thing, I sent some sheds off.
Yeah,
we were talking about this last night on the Discord live. We had, I think there's about 500 sheds that have been received, and from about shed number 200 going down, there's reruns, and there's quite a few reruns, and then all of a sudden they start to come up and show us DGC. So it was really bizarre when you look at their table.
Yeah,
how it fluctuated.
And that was another thing too, right? Because he said it's A and B. Not only is it A and B, you need, for you to produce a visual, both snakes need to be carrying at least one A and B, right?
Yeah.
And then Canada came out and said, I don't know what hogwash he's talking about. It's a simple recessive. You don't need any A and B. Either it's head or it's not. And then he came back and said, oh, it's this C gene. Now, to be fair, when he first started the whole DG thing, he did say, I think it's A and B, and then we have something else.
Yeah.
He did say that from the beginning.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
The only problem that I have is you charge full price for something that you didn't have 100% information. That's where I have my trepidation came in, is like, you know, that's a little whack to me.
Yeah, my other thing on this side of the fence was all of a sudden people were, well, hang on a minute, if it's not a recessive, why am I working the project? Yeah. And a lot of people got out of it.
Think how many people sold for pennies on the dollar. So you had, let's say 2018 DG's low. 2020 DG's here, it's at its peak. The test comes out, now it's back down at its low. You know, the sky's falling. You know, I'm off this junk. Now people are like, oh shit, I wish I didn't sell it. I need to get it back. You know, so my whole thing, if you go back on some of the videos that I talked on when it first came out, was listen, guys, DG was founded in the late 90s. One video is not going to change how DG is produced. Let's slow down and use some common sense, guys.
Yeah.
Everybody said I was a hater. Oh man, you don't know what you're talking about. You're a newbie. I'm like, I'm just using common sense.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna let one video determine how I feel about a gene that's been around since the late 90s. Like, come on, guys.
Yeah. I mean, I was trying to hit the DG Exantic for years and years, and I made my own double hets basically, and it always that double recessive always eluded me. And I could never figure out why. And when they came out with a video, I was like, well, hang on. Every clutch that I'm getting, I'm hitting more DGs than I am Exantics.
Yeah.
Right. And I haven't hit a DG Exantic yet. So hang on a minute. If they're saying that there's 2 lots of DG, that kind of makes sense why I'm getting more DGs in my clutch.
You're missing. I don't have the B. I'm only hitting with A's. Right.
Exactly. Yeah. And then I was like, well, hang on a minute, because I've got some DGs which look like this and some that look like that. So maybe it kind of made sense.
It made sense. When he broke it down, it made a lot of sense. So, I mean, that's why you didn't see people up in arms, saying, no, that's bullshit. Nobody said that because it made sense the way he broke it down. So, I mean,
it was also science as well. You kind of, we're being given this information due to genetic testing via science,
Yes. Yeah.
Who are we to argue with scientific information? We're not scientists. But it was when Canada, and like when I spoke to Jurgen over at Pro Herper in Europe, and he said, Gav, all I see is a recessive. I don't know what he's seen. And Canada see a recessive as well. So we don't know what he's going on about. I had some double het DG clown stuff on the shelf. And I just produced a DG pied. And I was like, you know what? If this is the way it's going to go, I need to let go of my double het stuff.
Yeah.
And just keep my visual stuff. And that's exactly what I did. I kept the DG Exantics that I managed to hit, and I kept the DG pied. I think for me, I'd still like some sort of explanation how they came to a video.
I'd like to touch on your situation, right? Where you're saying, man, I can't hit this DG Exantic. I think there's some combos that are extremely hard to hit. How come we haven't seen a lot of visual monsoon?
Yeah.
People got head-to-heads all day, but you think the market would be flooded by now.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's another reason why I think it's a super form and not a recessive. I mean, it's that hard to hit that super form.
Yeah. I mean, look, I made some het monsoon stuff. I brought an animal from Billy, and long and short of it was after he found the het monsoon stuff and this and the other. And we had a talk, and he was like, "Yeah, the dad that made that was a het monsoon." Showed him some of the offspring, and he was like, "Yeah, that's het monsoon."
Yeah.
And I've held back animals, and I've got my stranger from Glen over at Ultimate Balls, which got it direct from Iris.
Yeah.
Which they are the wackiest, crazy strangers.
Yeah.
That I've ever seen. So I'm going to take a chance and put my stranger posset moray into my het monsoon stuff. We'll see. But
every stranger clutch we've had, I can go and pick like, okay, that one's definitely staying back. Like it looks, like you said, it's crazy the markers that you see on these fakes. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it kind of makes sense as well if you're saying what you believe, and they prove it out to be they prove monsoon or moray just to be an incomplete dominant. I think that's going to change things.
But I always tell people, because there's a lot of people who shit on monsoon, right? Oh, it's so dominant, and but that's the whole point. That's the allure of the monsoon. That's the look you want. Why would you want to change if that's the look you're trying to take? And I said, listen, use that gene to your advantage. Treat it like Krypton. Yeah. Kryptons look amazing.
Yeah.
You don't have to have a clown. You can have a Krypton, right? You don't have to have a visual monsoon. Just have one copy of it.
Yeah.
it disrupts enough of the pattern that you can change the look or the outcome of, the pairing that you have. So, it's, I don't know.
Yeah. I think it's going to be interesting over the next couple of years. Going back to the economy and stuff like that. The economy is struggling all over the world,
Right.
and everything has a knock-on effect. So I think there's a lot of people who are getting out of the hobby, which again, every 5 to 6 years we see this general reset, if you like.
Yeah.
And I think we'll just see how the next few years go. It's going to be really interesting.
It's like with any market, man. Look at Bitcoin. That shit went to 80 grand.
Crazy.
And now it's back down to 1600.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's the thing, that's the market. That's life. That's the way it is.
Yeah.
If 90% of the people in the world are doing bad, guess what? Your market that's considered a hobby is going to do bad.
Yeah.
What we do is not a necessity. Nobody needs us. They want us.
Yeah.
So that's the first markets that suffer.
Yeah.
All of the needs suffer. The wants, they do well.
Yeah.
So if you don't have the patience, then you might want to start selling toilet paper.
Yeah. Totally agree with that. Okay. Look, dude, we've been going virtually an hour now. Is there anything you want to touch on? Anything, topics, anything you want to chat about? Or we covered everything? Is there anything I've missed?
Nah. I mean, I just enjoyed the time, man. If anybody in the comments have a question for me, I'm open to that. I appreciate everybody. All the love and support that I get, that you give Gavin, myself, much appreciated. So if you ever see me, because you will see me in Europe. I'm coming this year too.
Well, I need to have a chat with you because I'd like you to come over to one of our events that we put on.
Okay.
But we'll talk about that. We'll sort that out, definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
Guys, get over and follow Bomb
Projects. One more thing, Gavin. And this is a challenge that I put out to all the breeders that I know in the States, and I'm challenging your people too. Let's keep the industry strong. So I give every breeder a challenge to bring. You have the whole year, 2024. Bring 5 new breeders into the business. If you can do that every year, we're going to be all right. I promise you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've got something we're going to add to that. So I can't say too much, but we're launching something which is hopefully going to bring in fresh blood. But I'll explain more soon. I'll explain more definitely soon.
Yeah.
But that's a good one. Yeah, bring 5 new people into the industry. Amazing. Absolutely awesome.
That's one every 2 months and 2 weeks. You got 2 months and 2 weeks. Find somebody. Get somebody excited.
Think about it. Even if you just brought in, if every breeder brought in 2 or just one new person, that'd double the amount of what we've already got. Yeah.
That's why I say 5. Because realistically, if you can get 1 in a year, you've done it.
Yeah, 100%.
I didn't want to break it down like that because then people will lower their standards. I don't want them to think, I just need 1. No, reach for 5, get 1. We're all good.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. It's a good challenge, those. I think that's going to be, especially this early in the year. I think it's going to be easy. When I say easy, I think it's going to be more achievable than trying to do it in December.
For sure.
So, guys, go over and follow Bomb Projects on all their social media. They are definitely on Instagram. Are you on Facebook?
Yes.
So I'm not on Facebook, but get over, give them a follow. You going to do any YouTube stuff?
I am. Stay tuned. Probably in the next couple of months. I'm trying to figure out, a day and, everybody's talked about everything. So I don't know how I'm going to approach it, but yeah, for sure.
So get over and show the guys over at Bomb Project some support, guys. I really do appreciate your time, KG, jumping on. I'm going to sign off. Just stay where you are. We'll just have a quick chat once we've gone off the air.
Thanks, guys.
There you have it, guys. Guys, I want to say this with great respect, not just because he's come on tonight. he's all, you know, KG's always up for a chat. If you need his help or you see something that he has and you want to ask him a question about it, he will always answer. And he's one of the guys that I feel that, you know, in such a short space of time, you know, a lot of people admire. And, you know, I can't wait to see his future. Guys, I hope you've enjoyed this Meet the Breeders USA side type sort of live. Obviously, you know, if there's anyone you guys want to see me get on, drop me a message, let me know. I don't want it to be all about the breeders that I like and admire, because certainly, you know, there's a lot of people out there who I admire and who I look up to, and bomb projects are doing absolutely amazing. Guys, thanks for tuning in. I hope you're well. Have a fantastic Thursday evening. Sorry, Wednesday evening. I keep thinking it's Thursday. Wednesday evening. Tomorrow night we do the raffle draw. So if you haven't got your raffle tickets, get them tomorrow. You've got less than 24 hours to get involved in that. There's £500 gift voucher from me, £500 gift voucher, or not both, or £500 gift voucher from Viper, or a PlayStation 5. The winner gets to pick. So guys, hope you're all well. Take care. Thanks for joining us tonight, and we'll see you in the next one.